So when I say medicinal mushroom, am I wrong in saying that? Because that's what I've heard a lot.
You're not saying it
Okay.
wrong. The category of mushrooms we're talking about is the same.
Okay.
And we're just switching the diction, and we're all kind of playing with this. We're all like walking into this unknown world together in the way that we talk about this. But because cannabis has kind of been associated with the word medicine, right? Like medicinal herb. We don't want the association with these functional fungi to be automatically conflated with psychedelics.
I see.
So it's just, how can we talk about them as clear as possible?
Right.
And we're learning together. But
Yeah. So even then within the functional mushroom realm, what different types of mushrooms are we talking about? And when you say that they're growing mainly on trees, I know that cordyceps are a little bit different there. So when you say this, when you're talking about this category, what mushrooms are we talking about, and like kind of the names that people hear every day to day?
Yeah. So there's 4 big players that I think we can dive into today. And those are reishi, chaga, lion's mane, and cordyceps. And then there's a couple others that we can dig into as well. There's pretty much like 4 to 10 that are taking the spotlight in the functional fungi marketplace.
Is that because of how available they are, or just because the actual function and the benefits that we're seeing?
Yeah, several reasons. 2 of those, so reishi and chaga, are some of the oldest fungi that have been used. And what that means is there's so much history, there's so much tradition, and there's also the biggest bulk of research behind both of those fungi. So, of course, in our modern world, people want to be like, show me the studies.
Of course.
And we have those. Which is good, right? It's necessary. And I hope more and more studies continue to come out as they become more popularized. But yeah, I think the tradition and the research really makes them kind of the key players rather than accessibility or kind of like ease of use.
So reishi and chaga,
Yes.
and then cordyceps and lion's mane.
Yes.
Why would I be using those individually or in combination? And how do you guys use them at Four Sigmatic?
So we'll start with reishi.
Cool.
Reishi's known as
Yeah, I like reishi.
I love reishi. We call her the queen of mushrooms, and she's the oldest, most revered. She's been used a lot in traditional Chinese medicine, and there's so many. I like to think of these fungi as human beings, right? They're so complex. They have so much to offer.
They have feelings too.
They have feelings too, for sure. And with that, it's really hard for the general public. Like, we're already talking about mushrooms. They're like, whoa, am I still with you? So we want to come up with like one word or kind of like a personality to tag onto those mushrooms so people can remember this is what it's for and this is when I use it. So for reishi at Four Sigmatic, we call reishi the chill mushroom. And
I think that's what it says. It says chill with reishi on the mushroom cacao mix with reishi. So that's what, that makes, we're dumbing it down. We're simplifying it.
Yeah. And so there's so much more. We'll make that little plug. But reishi is great for occasional stress, nervous system relaxation, unwinding. I explain reishi like that feeling at the end of the day when you've, maybe gone running or had a big work day, or maybe like for us skiing, and you take off your ski boots or your shoes and you like put your feet up. Like that's kind of what reishi does to your body.
I like that. The imagery is, it's perfect.
Right on. Yeah. So reishi, kind of like the evening mushroom before bed. And really, if people don't know where to start within the world of functional fungi, I point them towards reishi because most of us are dealing with some layer of chronic stress. And with all fungi and really with all plant-based medicine, we're trying to look at the issues of whatever someone's dealing with from the root, right? So we're addressing the root rather than the symptom. We don't want Band-Aids
Stop the
here.
Band-Aid.
Yeah, like no more Band-Aids. We're beyond that. We really want to heal from the root up, right? So it's sustainable and long-term. And so, if people, are having stomach issues or headaches, or they're having digestion issues and they don't even think it's related to stress, often when they start taking something like reishi and support that underlying stress response, these secondary symptoms go away.
So how is that actually working in the body? And is that consistent through every type of functional mushroom? Like, do you, like the word adaptogen is
Yes.
thrown around a lot. So can you kind of explain how, like, what's the function in the body?
Totally. All functional mushrooms are considered adaptogens. And that's basically this umbrella category of plants and fungi that help your body to better adapt to certain stressors. That can be internal or external stressors.
Cool.
And I think the easiest way to think about what is happening in your body is to go back to the way that we evolved to deal with stress as humans, right? So typically when we would have a stress response, there would be an animal coming to attack us, right? And so our body rushes our bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol, these stress hormones, in order to have enough stamina to either fight that animal or run for our life, fight or flight.
Right, right.
And in that time, you're in survival mode, right? You're like, your body's pumping with these hormones and you have so much strength to keep yourself alive. And so the last thing your body's thinking of is, am I hungry? What's my sex drive like? Am I tired right now? Like, you're in survival mode. And we would move that energy, right? We would fight or flight and pump those hormones out of our bloodstream. But now,
Not so much anymore.
not so much, right? Like, we're driving to work, someone cuts us off, like, boom, stress response. Get into the office, boss yells at you, boom, stress response. And it just sits there and is circulating in our body. And we're like, why are these other parts of my body not working? It's like, oh, you're in survival mode almost all the time.
So that's what adaptogens are doing, and they're helping manipulate that stress response or ease that stress response. I'm really trying to dumb it down.
Yeah. Every adaptogen is going to do, again, they're part of this category, but they're each their own player, right?
Okay.
They're each like, we all live in Colorado together. We all have these similarities, but they each have a slightly different action in the body. So yeah, you want to choose your adaptogens wisely. And if you're dealing with any sort of more complicated issue, see an herbalist, shameless plug.
Yeah. We might know one.
Yeah, right? They're all supporting, like, if there was one common thread among them, they're all really supportive. They're tonifying to our adrenal glands, which is helping us deal with whatever stress. So it's almost, and you want to take them before the stressors occur to basically, they're like builders. They're like nourishing builders. If we all have, like, think of us, each of our bodies as a city, and cities have reservoirs, right? And when drought hits, you need to pull water from that reservoir to be able to most appropriately deal with the issue.
Right.
Yeah. So if our bodies are that city, the adaptogens are coming in and feeding our reservoir.
Got it.
I
Cool.
call it our vital reserve.
Yeah. That makes complete sense.
So we basically, it gives us these tools. So when stress comes, we can respond both more quickly and more efficiently. So we're basically not entrapped by whatever stressor. We're not pulled down and incapacitated by it.
Let's talk about chaga and lion's mane and cordyceps. At Cured, we have lion's mane and cordyceps in our Rise product, which is our focus and mental clarity product. And then we have the Reishi in our nighttime calming supplement. But chaga, does chaga live in the kind of the same world as Reishi?
So Reishi's the queen and
Okay.
Chaga's the king.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chaga's a super cool mushroom. Most mushrooms are parasitic or symbiotic, right? So they're growing from or with another species. Chaga are parasitic to birch trees primarily. And at Four Sigmatic, we wild harvest ours from the largest birch forest in the world. It's in Siberia. It's called the Taiga forest.
Have you been there?
I would love to go there.
Yeah.
I haven't been yet. Have you?
Sounds mystical. No.
Totally mystical. Yeah, we got to go. Next podcast in Siberia under
Live on
the birch
site.
trees.
Yeah,
Love it. But the big thing about chaga is it's super abundant in antioxidant properties,
Okay.
right? So who do you think of when you think of people that need antioxidants?
Me?
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody that's in a healthcare,
Yes.
a nurse, anything like that, where you're around a bunch of people.
Exactly. Spot on. So anytime you're exposed to free radicals, to antigens, chaga, again, talk about that like nourishing building effect. At Four Sigmatic, we have a little superhero image on all our chaga boxes because it's like this idea, if your body is full of antioxidants, you're really strong. Even if there's antigens or sickness going on and you're in that environment, you're not going to be a host for it, right? You're going to be strong enough to
building some resilience.
You bet.
Cool.
Yeah. So be well with chaga, super immune, antioxidant.
Got it.
Fungi.
Got it. Cool. And then lion's mane and cordyceps.
Oh, which to talk about first?
I don't know.
So
tell
you
me.
use
I use lion's mane a lot more. Lion's mane is in higher concentration in our Rise product. And I actually take on top of our Rise product, I actually take even more lion's mane outside of that. I actually take like 1.5 grams to 2 grams a day, which I don't know if that's like wild or not, but I just see that works for me.
Yeah.
But let's talk about lion's mane.
Yeah. Lion's mane is such a cool mushroom. It's one of my favorites. And we call it.
Actually looks like a lion's mane.
I mean, so many people are getting more familiar, but when I first started talking about lion's mane, people would be like, is this vegan? Is this okay? I'm like, it has nothing to do with the mane of a lion. That's the common name, right? So Latin name, Hericium erinaceus. And that's because of these 2 compounds in lion's mane that gives it this incredible ability to support brain function, thinking, productivity, memory.
So then I'm wrong in saying that that's where it came from and that it looks like it?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, well, no, I'm really wrong.
No, you're
Okay,
totally
cool.
spot on. Yes, this white, fluffy fungi that kind of looks like the mane of a lion.
Yeah.
But really what it's doing is it's activating nerve growth factor, which is incredible. So think about literally like turning on a light switch for your body to be able to refire neurons within your brain.
Wow.
Super cool. So it's being studied for all sorts of neurodegenerative diseases, right? Like Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. I had a client when I had my private practice, and really incredible story of he got in a snowboarding accident and lost nerve function in half of his body and only did physical therapy and took high doses of lion's mane and was able to regenerate full neural function in his left side of his body, except for above his left eyebrow, which is due to some scar tissue, which we'll work on. But
so when we talk about using it for like the mental clarity, kind of cognition, that's kind of like a like secondary or tertiary kind of effect of it.
No, that's right on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I was trying to understand, like, so you're saying that it's like what did you say? You said neuro. I was going to say not neuroprotectant. You said, what did you say?
It's activating nerve growth factor or NGF.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what like gives us this heightened sense of focus and productivity. So yeah, you are totally spot on.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I should trust myself more in my
you
understanding
got
of the mushrooms. I was supposed to be the CBD and the cannabinoid guy, but this world is really interesting. So on top of that, cordyceps. So we've combined cordyceps in our Rise product with the lion's mane.
Yep.
What does cordyceps do?
Cordyceps is so cool. So cordyceps is the physical energy fungi, right? And it's amazing because there's no stimulant in it. So typically when we think about an increase of energy, we think about caffeine, right? Or something that's going to be this upper and kind of prop us. But that's not the case with cordyceps. What cordyceps is doing, it's actually a vasodilator. So it's bringing increased oxygen into our bloodstream, which is what gives us the sense of energy. So amazing, right? We think about cordyceps for athletes. Pre-workout, it's really cool. You can feel the effects of cordyceps.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
most pre-workouts contain like an L-arginine or a citrulline that is exactly that. It's a vasodilator, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, I actually recommend cordyceps for athletes in recovery, just for this like long-term building, right? I'm all about like avoid Band-Aids wherever possible, and let's really like build and nourish the body. So long-term.
Get blood flow to the muscles after you work out. So you tear down the muscles while you're working out, and then getting into the recovery using cordyceps to increase the blood flow there. That makes sense.
Exactly.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So those are some awesome mushrooms, and there are how many that live outside of that? Lots, like you were just discussing.
Yes.
But we're talking about how Four Sigmatic has kind of like branded each of those. And I wanted to transition to the rest of like the value proposition behind Four Sigmatic and what consumers need to be understanding. And you really came with like three important categories to me when you walked in the office today. And I just want to dive into each of those to try and help clear up some misconceptions. And when people go to buy a product, understand exactly what they should be looking for. So what's like
Totally.
the number one thing?
Yeah.